Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Or Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So read together. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Ato Jayam Udirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki Om Hagyana Timarandasya Gyanangana Shalakaya Chaksham Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jai Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Ratapacha Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Tamal Krishna Goswami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisheshinyavadi Paskati Deshitarine. All right, so today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's get this. And this is chapter 18, and it's verses 11 through 14. Emphasis is on verse 12. That's what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Thank you. So, do we read the Sanskrit and then everybody says the English together? Or what? Okay, so let's go ahead and someone can read the translation of text 11 if you have a mic. Okay.
By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mukunda, is the all in all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing them, of them, one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and eagerly, very eagerly, hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead in the form of sound vibrations, enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganga diminishes bodily contaminations and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Therefore, who is a sane man who will not associate with devotees to quickly perfect his life?
All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept in the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man?
Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditions living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities.
Therefore, O demons, give up the so-called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord Nrsingadev, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement in family life is the root cause of material attachment. Indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of which result in repetition of birth and death.
Who understands the word indefatigable? Would you like me to define it? Yeah, it doesn't have any fatigue, meaning it doesn't stop. It's without cessation. And we've got that's it today. All right, let's go back to text 12. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana saver gunas tatra samaste suraha Rava bhaktasya kutomat guna manoratana sati davato bhaki. Please chant. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati kinchana sarvastatra samasate sura Harava bhaktasya kuto mahaguna manoratana sati davato bhahi. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana avergunastastra samasta suraha Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana Savanastatra samasate sura Arava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna Manoratana sati dhavato bhai Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana Satra samasate sura Arava bhaktasya kuto mahakuna Manoratena sati dhavato bhai. Anyone else? Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana Saver gunais tatra samasate sura Harava bhaktasya kuto mahatguna Manoratena sati dhavato bhahi. All right, so word for word we'll read together. Yasya, of whom, asti, there is, bhakti, devotional service, bhagavati, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, akinchana, without any motive, sarvai, with all, ganai, good qualities, tatra, there, in that person, samsati, reside, suraha, all the demigods, haro, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, abhaktasya, of a person who is not devoted, kuta, where, mahatguna, good qualities, manoratena, a mental speculation, asati, in the temporary material world, davataha, who is running, bahi, outside. Translation. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities, even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? Please repeat. All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities, even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives. He must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So I'll read the first paragraph of the purport, and then we can share the next one. As explained in the next verse, Krishna is the original source of all living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15:7, wherein Krishna says, Mamavam so jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, manasastrani indriyani, prakritishtani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore when they revive their original Krishna consciousness, they possess all the good qualities of Krishna in a small quantity. When one engages himself in the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, one's heart becomes purified, and he immediately understands his relationship with Krishna. He then revives his original quality of Krishna consciousness. Anyone want to start reading? Second one.
In the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chapter 8, there's a description of some of the qualities of devotees. For example, Sri Pandit Haridas is described as being very well behaved, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, and grave. Thank you. In addition, he spoke very sweetly. His endeavors were very pleasing, and he was always patient. He respected everyone. He always worked for everyone's benefit. His mind was free of duplicity, and he was completely devoid of all malicious activities. These are all originally qualities of Krishna. When one becomes a devotee, they automatically become manifest. Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that all good qualities become manifest in the body of a Vaishnava, and that only by the presence of these good qualities can one distinguish Vaishnava from a non-Vaishnava. Krishnadas Kaviraj lists the following 26 good qualities of a Vaishnava. 1. He is very kind to everyone. 2. He does not make anyone his enemy. 3. He is truthful. 4. He is equal to everyone. 5. No one can find any fault in him. 6. He is magnanimous. 7. He is mild. 8. He is always clean. 9. He is without possessions. 10. He works for everyone's benefit. 11. He is very peaceful. 12. He is always surrendered to Krishna. 13. He has no material desires. 14. He is very meek. 15. He is steady. 16. He controls his senses. 17. He does not eat more than required. 18. He is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. 19. He offers respect to everyone. 20. He does not desire any respect for himself. 21. He is very grave. 22. He is very merciful. He is friendly. He is poetic. He is expert. He is silent.
Thank you. So we can all understand that we have met devotees like that, and we're here because of that. I'm here because of Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who manifested all of those qualities. And the other reason is His Holiness Ratapajas Maharaj, who also manifests all these qualities. And I thought we would just put the question out there for all of you. Who do you know in your life who's brought you to this point of wanting to learn more about Krishna? Does anybody want to glorify their... Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Premamrita G. Jai. Haribo. That's it.
Prema invited me.
Anyone else? Ajit?
There's a devotee in Ottawa. His name is Mandala Ram.
Manaram.
And Mandala Ram. And Mandala Ram.
Mandala
Maybe
Ram.
he's listening. Sometimes he listens to our classes,
Okay.
actually. he's running the Govinda's restaurant
Runs Govinda's
in
restaurant.
Ottawa, and that's how I first started coming to Krishna consciousness. Was I was going to that restaurant, and he was like, I had never met somebody like that. I had never met somebody that was so sincere, so pure. Everybody who walks through that door is like a friend to him,
Amazing.
even though he's so much more advanced.
It's wonderful.
Like, I was doing all kinds of nonsense, but still he took me in, and he wasn't trying to like preach to me or convert me. He was just trying to feed me the best food I ever had and just get to know me and just care about me.
Nice.
And it didn't take long before when I would come into the restaurant, I would just start saying Hare Krishna, and then the rest is history. So
Wonderful.
Hare
Wonderful.
Krishna.
Anyone else want to glorify devotees? There's so many wonderful examples. So many of my god brothers and god sisters also, they manifest these qualities. And it just makes you want to try harder to follow their example. It's, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that kind of person who's a transparent via medium. They're actually letting us see Krishna through them, and yet they are there also. They're part of that, and that's why, Ritvik philosophy doesn't really work. You can't really just say, okay, I'm, connected to Prabhupada and forget you. It doesn't work. That's not how the system works. You have a spiritual master, he or she, and they bring you to the point of Krishna consciousness, and they help you along the way. And it's not like the voidists or the impersonalists where you get up on a ladder, you climb up all the way up on this ladder, and then you kick the ladder away. That's not what it's like. That person remains an integral part of your life. And we asked Srila Gurudev, what will happen when we pass away and someday you'll pass away? He said, we'll see each other again. And we will be in that same relationship. Will we know you? He said, yes, you will know me. You will recognize me. That's what happened when I met Srila Gurudev. I recognized him right away. I just said, this person's very important to me. I knew right away. And it's an uncanny, meaning totally unique situation. So the 26 qualities of a devotee. We are all in the shower getting purified, but when we have that place of purification, then those qualities can manifest. They can come out. So the understanding is by chanting Hare Krishna, we're actually cleansing the mirror of the mind. See, these qualities are already there. They're already inside us. Each one of these 26 qualities. We have every single one of them. But what gets in the way is the anarthas. It's the things that we don't want in the heart that prevent us from manifesting and allowing ourselves to become full, to manifest all of that. There's so many examples in the scriptures, in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, Haridas Thakur and Prahlad Maharaj immediately come to mind. But can anyone think of any others? Does anyone know of any others in the Srimad Bhagavatam? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Radhanath Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, he's a propounder of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He propounds Srimad Bhagavatam. But yes, he also has that. I think Maharaj Ambarish is who I'm thinking of. It's Maharaj Ambarish. even though Durvasa Muni, what did he do? Jashnav, what did Durvasa Muni try to do? He tried to kill him. And what for? Do you know? Why? He had drunk a sip of water. That's right. He took a sip of water. And what was it?
He said that before giving the food to the guest, you ate. That's why. That's what he said.
Oh my God! I mean, so what happened to Durvasa Muni? He got completely covered over. He let his pride and his arrogance and his anger completely cover his knowledge. Who's another example of Vaishnava in Srimad Bhagavatam? Can anyone think of others? Yes, Ajay.
In the 11th canto, there's a story of Avanti Brahmana.
The Avanti Brahmana.
Avanti Brahmana. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was, he used to be very like reputable and wealthy, but then he lost everything and he became a sannyasi. And but he was getting oppressed a lot as a sannyasi, even though he had like nothing. But the kids would just make fun of him, and they would like pee on him, and they would like do all kinds of nonsense to him. But he remained so humble and tolerant, and he was just seeing that everything is happening due to my own karma, and my how I reacted is due to my own mind. And he was like, ultimately, our experience of life just has to do with our own mind. So, anyways, that was really inspiring.
That's very good. And because of the Avanti Brahmana, all our sannyasis have that beautiful mantra to meditate on every day. They can sing that prayer of the Avanti Brahmana, which is so advanced and beautiful. Another great personality is King Chitraketu. He was flying in his airplane, and he saw Bhavani sitting on the lap of Lord Shiva, and he just thought, hey, man, what are you doing? You got your wife out in public here like that, you know? And of course, he laughed at him. He just kind of chided him. That's all. You know, kind of like like how brothers joke with each other, and that he wasn't really like super offensive or anything. He was just joking with him. But Bhavani, she became very upset. She thought that was slighting her husband very much. So she cursed King Chitraketu. But what did he do? What was his response? It was so amazing. He immediately got down off his chariot. He offered his obeisances to Mother Durga, and he said, "Mother, yes, you may do as you wish. I accept your curse." And Lord Shiva, he turned to his wife and said, "Just see the glories of the Vaishnavas, that even though they're cursed, they remain completely equipoised." So Lord Shiva is praising King Chitraketu. And of course, the story goes on about King Chitraketu and his glorious departure. It's so incredible. And how he's actually preaching to Indra. Indra's trying to cut his head off as a big demon. And it's taking him a long, long time. And he's preaching the whole time to Lord Indra. He's giving him pure Krishna bhakti the whole time. There's so many other amazing examples that we can read in the scriptures. Any others? Can you think of? Gokulananda, you got anybody? Bali Maharaj. Perfect. That's perfect. So what is the most outstanding thing about Bali Maharaj? Who could have been more entrenched in family life than Bali Maharaj? He was so entrenched in family life, and he was completely absorbed in it. There was, so he had already conquered the lower, the middle, and the upper planets, and he was just conducting business as usual, and just carrying on. And so what happened? Lord Vamanadev, because the demigods took shelter of the Lord and said, "Oh Lord, we need your help. This guy is so powerful. We need some help." So what happened was this: Lord Vamanadev appeared, and he appeared in the most charming, most beautiful dwarf incarnation, just so perfect. Every limb and every nuance of his appearance was just completely attractive. And so he comes into the assembly with this little umbrella, and he's just little tiny Brahmana. He's walking in, and the whole assembly is enchanted. And what to speak of Bali Maharaj? He's completely overtaken with attraction. "Yes, my dear little Brahmana, how may I serve you?" And he's, first Lord Vamanadev is he's very reticent. "No, that's okay. I'm satisfied as I am." "Oh, no. You must ask." And Bali Maharaj is insisting. "I have maidservants, chariots, army. I can give you land, palaces. I can give you whatever you want. I'm just ask anything." "No, Brahmanas are always satisfied. They're completely satisfied." And he said, "Okay, please, you must ask." "All right, well, just 3 steps of land." So why was that so significant? Nishingrupa, you want to tell us why that was so significant? That 3 steps of land? You're trapped, Nishingrupa. You're trapped. You're trapped.
I don't recall exactly why the 3 steps were so significant.
Because the first step pierced the cover of the whole universe.
Oh, meaning because they...
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I thought that maybe there was some other deeper meaning you were
No,
referring to.
No, so go ahead. Yeah. The first step was that, and what was the second step?
The first step covered...
it was the covering the material world, and then the second step.
Yeah, it was piercing, covering all of creation. Everything was covered by the second step, right? And so the third step, there was nowhere else to go, and so then Bali Maharaj basically put his foot on Bali Maharaj's head.
He said, "Here's the place for your third step."
Yeah.
There it is. And so what happened when Shukracharya, when he heard him ask for 3 steps of land, what was his response? What did he tell Bali Maharaj?
That he was being tricked.
Yes.
Told him
He
not
said,
to.
"Don't do it."
Yeah.
Don't do it. He's only asking for 3 steps of land, but he's going to take everything. And Shukracharya had no faith. He had no faith. He was in the Karmakanda program, and he didn't have the assurance that, okay, so if Lord Vamanadev takes everything, then what happens? I don't have anything. But that's the mentality of what? A non-devotee. It's somebody who doesn't have any faith or trust in the Lord that he's going to be taken care of. Right? Isn't it, Jaishna? All right. So what was Bali Maharaj's great intelligence? He ignored his guru. He said, no, I must. And his wife came with the bathing pot and bathed his hands. And that signified that the request would be granted. And so he granted. And then, "Lord, no place for your third step. You step on my head." And so he's a wonderful example of the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. And in fact, all of our Mahajans, Bali Maharaj is one of them. And another one is who? Yes, Prahlad Maharaj. That's right. And another one is Bhishma Dev. He's pierced with arrows, lying on a battlefield, and all he's thinking of is the love he has for Krishna. And he's maintaining his life airs, just meditating on that bhakti, that love for Krishna, and he's just offering himself to Krishna like a flower, continuously circulating his life air in the bones of his body and waiting for that perfect time for passing from this world. So this is so incredible that Bhishma Dev, he was the only one who was able to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj. So approximately 16 million people died in the space of 18 days. We cannot even conceive of that level of violence. That is beyond conception. I cannot conceive it. My obeisances to you if you can. That is most incredible. But so Yudhishthira is completely despondent. And why is he despondent? He's blaming himself. He's not seeing that this is the Lord's hand. He's not seeing that this is Krishna's desire. So even Krishna is trying to help this poor Yudhishthira Maharaj with his intense grief. And the only one who can pacify him is Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev's instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj literally put him in the position of a king. That gave him his kingly mantle. He was able to take up his service. And these are the examples for us. I mean, we're just little tiny jivas struggling in Kali Yuga. At the same time, we can remember these examples, and by remembering, our hearts become purified, and Krishna sees that meditation, and it pleases him so much that we take shelter of his devotees. These are not ordinary things. Who's another example? Can anybody think of any women that are examples in the Bhagavatam? Queen Kunti, she's an example. Yes. Devahuti, Draupadi. These are great Vaishnavas. They're great Vaishnavis, and they give us so many good examples of tolerance and patience, and just putting their love for Krishna above their own desire. That's the whole thing, is somehow putting that horse in front of the cart. We all have desires. Some are spiritual, some are material. We're trying to put our spiritual desires ahead of the material. Material always follows spirit. We can't, the material has no life of its own. Only the spirit can move the matter. And so that's what the practice is in Krishna consciousness. All right, now it's 8:15, and I need some discussion. Who wants to talk about a time when you had to become very patient, when you were pushed to your limit, and how did you finally, and a successful one, not a failure? Like me, I've failed many times, but think of an example of a time that you really got pushed, and somehow you kept your cool, kept your equilibrium. Can anybody think of a time? Yes?
In 11th grade, I had a wrestling match, and it was for 3rd place.
And I'm sorry, what is your name?
Sarah.
Sarah. Thank you. You're new to Christian House.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Go ahead.
It was a big match, and the girl and I were pretty much evenly matched, and by the last period, we went into overtime because our score was the same. And normally I'm the kind of person who is very offensive and, takes all the chances, but I had to be patient, and I waited, and then I ended up winning because she...
Jar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what sport was this?
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Come on, there's stories out there. Come on, you guys have stories.
I don't know how spiritual this is, but one time I was flying back here to Dallas from Gainesville, Florida, and so then I took a car over to the airport at like 1 a.m. to catch my flight at 4 a.m. And then something happened where one of the devotees I was traveling with, we got confused at her bag, and then we missed our flight at 4 a.m. And then the next flight was at like 11:30 p.m. or something like that. So it was practically like being in purgatory with my twin sister Draupadi. So we were just like trying to stay sane, eating potato chip airport food, and we were chanting our rounds and stuff in the airport. But yeah, and we had this option to get like a $500 ticket back to Dallas like earlier, but we were like, no, we can't do that. So that was a time where I felt I had to be very patient.
Jai, very patient. My gosh. That was a 18-hour layover. Hare Krishna. Gokulananda? Got any power in there?
Krishna. So I can recall it was 2008 and we were in Vrindavan Yatra and it was getting cold. If I'm not mistaken, it was Prabhupada's discipline day, sorry. And the offerings were to be made. So there was a pandal set up and I was sitting right behind my spiritual master, Radhana Swami Maharaj. And Radhana Swami, he just called me and said, can you please go and remove those big vase? Is that what you call them? The flower pots? Vases. So they're obstructing the vision of the audience. They can't see the speaker properly. So I went there and I just looked at the base of the vases, and there were metal straps on 3 sides. Each had the 3 metal straps, and each metal strap had 3 or 4 big screws studded into the ground. So it looked impossible, absolutely impossible. So I just looked at those. I asked a couple of authorities, is it possible? Maharaj wants them to be removed. They said it's not possible. So then I came back to him and I told him, Maharaj, it's impossible. And Maharaj just sternly looked into my eyes and said, just do it. So I need to, I don't know what to do. I thought probably I should be patient and, let the time pass and then what can I do? But then I went there, I looked for some kind of a tool, and by Krishna's grace, I found a screwdriver, huge screwdriver. I requested many authorities and they all just gave up and they said, we can't do it. It's not possible. So then I went and I just inserted the screwdriver in one metal strap. With one whack, it came out. It just popped up. And the second one, third one, and all of those, they just came out so easily. And everybody were like awestruck to see all that. And I was so much perspiring, because I was shaved hair, although it was cold, I was so much profusely sweating. And then the realization was, you need to be patient when there is instruction coming from your spiritual master. And the other one was, along with the instruction comes the empowerment.
Sure. All right, Premamrita's got something. Jai.
Because you're sharing stories of Guru Maharaj, I think Guru Maharaj's pastime is inspiring his disciples to be patient in various ways. There was this time when I was staying at Bhakti Center for some time, and Radhana Swami was in town, and he was in town for a while. It was during Kartik, but it was like the beginning, and I had seen him around, but I had never gotten to like really meet him or like speak with him. I think I got to ask him a question in class one time, and he answered my question, and that was really beautiful. But yeah, I'd never met him before, and so a senior god brother of mine said, okay, Maharaj is having meetings today. I think maybe this time he should be able to meet with you. So, you know, have whatever you want, write him a letter or whatever you want to do, like have it ready and just don't like be there, you know, like don't go anywhere, just like be there. And so the time came, he was having another meeting with another devotee, and that the time came where this god brother said to be ready. So I had my letter written, and I just went and I sat on the stairs outside of the room Maharaj was having his meeting in. There was a festival going on. This was Diwali. There was a festival going on in the temple room, right the floor below. And there was amazing ecstatic kirtan, but I was not going there. I was not going to risk that. So I just sat there on the stairs, and I sat there on the stairs, and I sat there on the stairs for I don't know how long. It was at least a couple hours.
Yeah,
at least a
hours.
couple hours. This meeting, and I heard Maharaj in there laughing with these devotees. And I was feeling like, oh my gosh, they're so fortunate. And I was just, but I was ready. I was like, he could open this door at any moment. So the whole time I was sitting there, I wasn't just like, I was like sitting straight up. I was, at some points I would stand up and just like hold my letter, like almost like he would open the door at any moment, and then I would sit back down.
You were practicing.
I was just so like, and yeah, hours passed, and my
Oh, that's good.
realization as those hours were passing was that, oh my gosh, I'll wait for Maharaj forever. I'll wait
Yeah.
for him forever. Like
Wonderful.
waiting for him is the perfection of my life.
That's so
So
beautiful.
that was one realization that I had about
Yeah, we're waiting for
meditation.
Krishna's
Yeah.
mercy to descend and
Yeah.
take our heart.
And just the waiting
that's
is
it.
the perfection
Yeah,
of our life.
that's right.
Yeah. Maybe
so beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you, Premamrita. Yeah. That's it, Prabhu.
I have a little story that happened yesterday, actually.
Mhm.
There's a little Krishna miracle that I'm still trying to understand. It can't be anything other than that. But so basically, yesterday was a bit of a rough day. I was feeling pretty sick. And anyways, I came back from Sankirtan, and it was time to like wrap up the restaurant. And I know devotees wanted my help for that. But the car was really low on gas, and I just had to go and fill it up. So then I took Jista's card, credit card, debit card, to go and fill up the gas. And I go on my own, and I go and I put the card in, and then it's asking me for a PIN. And I'm like, oh no, I don't have the PIN. And then I realized I cannot call Jista because I don't have any phone service anymore, because my credit card is canceled, because I'm waiting for a new one to come in. Anyway, there's so many things.
Wow.
And then I'm just like, well, I don't know what to do. And I'm trying to see if I can connect to the Wi-Fi somewhere or something, and it's not connecting. And it was definitely testing my patience. And I was thinking, wow, this could be a situation where I would just get overwhelmed and get really frustrated, or like, and then, but something amazing happened. I kept putting the card in, and it kept saying PIN, what's your PIN? And then for some reason, and I took it out, and I was trying so many things. Before I gave up, I was like, for some reason I felt like, let me just try again to just put it in. And I just put it in, and I wait a little bit. I'm trying to figure things out on my phone, and all of a sudden it just goes to, okay, put your gas in now. I was like,
Amazing.
what? I was like, what
Amazing.
happened?
That's
all of a sudden
amazing.
it didn't need a pin anymore. It was just like, all right,
Wow.
let's go. And I just filled up the gas, and I came back.
Oh my God.
And I literally thanked Krishna. I was like, Krishna, thank you. I don't like, it was
That's
amazing.
incredible. Sorry. All right. Anyway.
I was
Yeah.
going to India
Please.
like 2 years ago. We were planning on going on a trip to India, and like 2 weeks before, no, like a week before the trip, I had to get a new passport, and the new passport got lost, and my old passport with my India visa also got lost, because you have to send it in and they send it back to you. So both of those got lost. So I was trying to get them. I was like, my trip's in like 3 or 4 days. They didn't want to print. They didn't want to print me a new passport, because they said, "Oh, well, the passport could still come on Friday." And I said, "But if it doesn't come, my visa's in the old one. I can't go get a new visa." And it was a whole trip. So, like at that same time, like we had a leak in our roof, and like a rat came in the house, and it was like there was just like these like stacking up, like one thing after the next. And so I came to the point that I got a passport. They finally printed it, and it was Thanksgiving Day, and my trip was on Sunday. So Friday would be the only possible way that I could go try to get a visa. And Nityananda Prabhu had a contact in Houston, and it was just this whole thing. And so I came to this point of like, Krishna, like, am I supposed to be doing this? Is this like over endeavor? I just felt like it was too much. And so I was basically ready to give up. I said, this is too much. All of these things happening back to back. I feel like Krishna is trying to tell me this is not the right time. And so I called Rizavaja Maharaj, who was in India at the time, and I was supposed to go visit him. And I was just explaining the situation. He said, well, you still have one more step, actually. There is one more option. You can go to Houston. You can try. And they could say no and not give you a visa. Then you've actually taken all of the steps. So it was kind of like patience, maybe perseverance, I guess. It was a lesson for me to learn. And so I went down to Houston, and again, they were like, oh, you wasted your time. We're not going to give you a visa. There's no way. It's not happening. And then eventually this person made a phone call, and it happened. And I ended up going and having a really wonderful trip in India. But it was
incredible.
Yeah, just anyway, came to mind as devotees were sharing, especially Drista's flight experience made me think about it, getting stranded.
Yeah. Anything else from anybody? Yeah. All right. And so this is the residents of Jambudweep offering their prayers, and we are learning so much just about, the exalted qualities of great devotees. So thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Jai Srila Gurudev ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.
विभुव भारा वहन तारक वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुग श्री जीव गोपालक वंदे रूप सनातन
Saturday.